Hello everyone, welcome to the course Geotechnical Engineering 2. So in this lecture number 8, we will try to understand the different shear strength tests that are there along with the drainage conditions and the shear stress strain relationships. So previously we have discussed the direct shear test as well as the triaxial test. Now furthermore we will be discussing today the unconfined compression strength test and vane shear test that is there. Okay. So this is the course outline. So we are at the last stages of our discussions on the shear strength test determination. Okay. So in the previous session, what we have discussed? We have discussed the various drainage conditions that are there. That is consolidated, undrained, or unconsolidated, undrained, or consolidated drained. That is CU, UU, and CD. These three various drainage conditions we have understood. Why? Because we have to simulate the actual field problem to the laboratory. Okay. Furthermore, we have discussed the triaxial test, its apparatus as well as the testing procedure, and then the drainage conditions, how we implement them onto the triaxial test, as well as the stress strain curves when performed in a triaxial test. So if you look at here, in case of triaxial test, let me give a just small reminder that in triaxial test we have considered a cylindrical specimen of diameter say 38 mm and height of 76 mm height. So in the initial stage, confining stress should be applied. In consolidation stage, confining stress should be applied, and then in the additional stage, that is shearing stage, deviator stress is applied. Okay. So let me now explain this more in detail. So if you see here, initially on this particular type of soil, sigma 3 is applied. Okay, on this particular type of soil, sigma 3 is applied. Here also sigma 3 is applied initially in the confining stage. So that is why sigma 3 is equals to sigma c. So what we are doing additionally now, we are applying the additional load, that is the deviator load or the deviator stress. So after some amount of time in the stage 2 we are applying sigma d. So that is why in the axial direction it is sigma 1 is equals to sigma 3 plus sigma d. Okay, always keep in mind that sigma 1 is equals to sigma 3 plus sigma d, and sigma 3 is equals to sigma c. Okay, where sigma 3 is the confining stress, sigma 1 is equals to confining stress plus deviator stress. This is very much helpful for solving our problems, because sigma 1 and sigma 3 are our principal planes. Because if you look at this particular diagram here, in case of triaxial test, the sample is not having any shear stress along the surfaces. That is why these planes are nothing but my principal planes. Clear? So that is why sigma 1 and sigma 3 are the stresses that are there. Okay, so now we can interlink to our earlier sections. Now, so let us now look at unconfined compression strength test. Okay, so this is a special form of triaxial test. If you know triaxial test, this is one special form of triaxial test. So how we can say that special form? The only difference is here confining pressure is 0. As I have stated, this soil, any soil sample can be tested in case of UCS as unconsolidated undrained. Unconsolidated undrained, that means as a UU test, unconsolidated undrained when performed in a triaxial test will be similar to this type of test. Okay, how it is, as I have stated, so that means it is performed as a UU test. So what type of soils can be performed? Unconsolidated undrained, that means it has to be rigid like that. It doesn't have to it should not have any external supports. So that means such type can be performed on clayey soils. Okay, which cannot stand, which can stand without confinement. Okay, now as I've stated, it can be performed as unconsolidated undrained test in a triaxial test. So if you have to perform unconsolidated undrained test in a triaxial test, simply you can go for UCS test itself. Okay, if I have a clay soil and I have to carry out UU test in triaxial, I can simply perform that on unconfined compression strength test. Now, so let us look at what is the difference here. So the similar sample here, Okay, it is a similar sample where initially confining pressure and deviator stress are applied, but the confining pressure is 0. That means sigma 3 is 0. Initially we are not applying any confining stress or confining load. Okay, so that means if you imagine what is the test procedure conducted in triaxial test, what we are doing initially, in the casing that is there, in a casing that is there, we are placing the test sample, and we are permitting water, so that the water is filled along the container, and the center there is a specimen. That means the specimen is surrounded by the water now in triaxial test. That means sigma 3, the water load that is acting on the soil is nothing but sigma 3. But in this test we are not allowing that. That means we are not permitting any water or any external thing. That means sigma 3 is 0. Simply the sample is placed in the specimen is placed in the testing apparatus. Clear? Now that means additionally the sigma 3 is 0. So only the deviator stress is load. That means only axial load that is applied will be accounted. So that is why sigma 3 is 0 in this particular case. So as I have stated, it is similar to triaxial test, but the only change is sigma 3 is 0. And this type of test can be performed only for clayey soils which stand without confinement. So that is why there is no confining pressure, only axial pressure is there. Now imagine this is the soil sample. So initially whatever load that we apply, so in this particular case sigma 3 is 0. Therefore sigma 1 will be only the external load that is present. Okay, apart from the field conditions, whatever stress is there, only sigma, additional delta sigma is present, that is the deviator stress. So this is the typical arrangement of or equipment that you observe in case of a laboratory for unconfined compression strength test. So this is the arrangement. Say this is a clay sample which is present. That means if you look at here, it is directly placed in the experimental setup, and there is no porous disc on top and bottom. For dissipation of pore water. A steel plate is there for exertion of load, and a steel plate is placed at the bottom so that it is supported. So that is why unconsolidated, it can be performed as unconsolidated. What is unconsolidated here? That means the water, dissipation of pore water is not possible. Yes or no? Similarly, there is no drainage in the shearing stage also. That is why it is unconsolidated undrained test. So this is the typical arrangement here, where the axial load is applied using this setup, where we place a displacement gauge for measuring the vertical displacement in this case. Similarly, okay. Now, so as I have stated, sigma 3 is 0, and sigma 1, it has been written in this manner, but simply I can just write this as sigma d. Simply I can write down that as sigma d. That is the additional load that is applied. So this can be simply calculated because we know the proving ring load that is coming onto the soil. So I can find out the additional axial stress that is acting on the soil because I know the surface area of the soil. Okay. So because of this external load, the failure plane may be observed in this manner after certain amount of incremental load. So if I draw a Mohr Coulomb graph here, or initially say I have just drawn a Mohr graph representing on x-axis sigma and on y-axis tau. As sigma 3 is 0, initially I have to mark the value sigma 3 is 0 here. Okay, initially let us mark sigma 3 as 0. So I have sigma 1 equal to sigma d. So let me mark this as sigma 1 equal to sigma d. Okay. So if I just plot the center of this particular point, say it is the center C. So using this, if I just draw a circle, and for our, as I have stated in Mohr's representation, only upper half can be considered because it is symmetrical about the sigma axis. So I have just drawn a curve in this manner. Okay, and if you just observe this, this is a horizontal dotted line that I have represented here. Okay, so that means here in this particular case, it is given by S is equals to, or tau F is equals to sigma 1 by 2. Since this is sigma 1 by 2, that means the shear strength on the failure plane is equals to the maximum shear stress. So that is why it is equals to sigma 1 by 2. It is the radius of the circle, Morse circle. Similarly, if you look at here, Cu is the cohesion intercept. For time being, we have given Cu because unconsolidated undrained, it is given Cu. C is the cohesion intercept. So what is Cu? It is the radius of this particular Morse circle only. So that is why Ce equal to Qu by 2. Okay, if sigma 1 is Qu, then it is given by Qu by 2. So in that way, we have to determine the shear stress. Now, so that is regarding the unconfined compression strength test. Coming to the vane shear test. So this vane shear test can be performed in the laboratory as well as in the field. Okay, so here this type is generally used for the determination of shear strength of soft clays in case of laboratory. In case of laboratory, this can be used, this test can be used for the shear strength determination of soft clays only. Okay, furthermore, if it is conducted in a soil, it can be performed to any type of soil. Okay, it can be performed to any type of soil. Only thing is that we have to dig a borehole and then we have to penetrate this vein that is there. We will discuss the apparatus. We have to penetrate the vein. However, for very stiff clays, this is quite difficult to perform because the vein or the blades that are present may tend to break. Now, so it can be performed without drilling a borehole by direct penetration. Okay, this can also be done by direct penetration of this vein, provided it has a strong shoe sort of arrangement. It is having a strong shoe sort of arrangement, then it can be penetrated without drilling any borehole, in case of a field. Okay, now furthermore, let us now look at the vane shear apparatus. So this is the typical arrangement of a vane shear apparatus. So if you look at here, this is the typical test sample. So in a box sort of arrangement, this is a box sort of arrangement in which we place the soil sample. Okay, this is the soil sample that is present. We place the soil sample in it. Say the dimensions are 38 mm or by 76 mm as usual, what we have considered in triaxial, or any other may be considered as well. So here what we are doing is we are preparing the soil sample in the mold and we are placing it in the mold. And then this is the arrangement here. Okay, this is a typical vane. Okay, if you look at here, this is a typical vane here. Just highlighting this once again here. This is a vane sort of arrangement having blades. It is penetrated into the soil with the help of this spring sort of arrangement, which is attached to this some arrangement where torque can be applied. That means rotation can be applied. So here there is a measurement scale here to measure the torque as well as the angular displacement, okay, which can be measured. So here, so if you look at this diagram in detail, once the sample is prepared, the vane is now penetrated into it and now torque is applied. So between two successive blades, whenever there is some shear formed, we have to stop this particular test and then we have to record the readings as well. So correspondingly we will determine the torque. Okay, we will take the torque from the reading and then here we have to find out the shear strength of this particular soil where the shear is happening, and this can be calculated by one particular formula, that is given by tau is equals to T by pi. Okay, it is given by T by pi, that is torque by pi into d square h by 2, okay, plus d cube by 6. It is given by d square h by 2 plus d cube by 6. So what is d here? D is the diameter of the sample that is taken and height h is the depth of the soil sample taken or height of the soil sample taken. Okay, so shear strength of this particular type of soil due to shear can be obtained by T by pi, torque by pi, into d square h by 2 plus d cube by 6. Clear? In that way we determine the shear strength. Now let us now look at the field vane shear test. So this is the typical arrangement of a field vane shear test. So let me explain this more clearly now. So initially there is a borehole that is dug and this vane is penetrated into it. So in case of this, the diameter of the vane is generally 65 mm and then height is 130 mm. So it is having the vane blades are having a thickness of 2 mm. So this is what is carried out here. So it is generally penetrated into the soil, and after that if it is having a strong shoe and then it is furthermore penetrated. Here now the torque is applied using a torque meter. Now the torque is applied using a torque meter. So what will happen after some amount of time, due to this rotation, there will be some shear observed between these particular vanes in the soil. So what will happen, then we have to record the readings of the torque correspondingly and then we have to obtain it. So here after determining, simply we can say that the shear strength S or tau F can be calculated by T by pi into d square h by 2 plus d cube by 6. So that can be evaluated using this formula. Here one thing you need to understand, whenever it is penetrated initially, within 1 minute it has to rotate at a 6 degree per minute. It rotates at a 6 degrees per minute, and then the peak value is measured. The peak value T max is measured. Later it is performed with additional 8 to 10 revolutions. It is performed with additional 8 to 10 revolutions, and finally the residual torque TR is now obtained. The main aim is that initially it is undisturbed. When we are performing up to this stage, it is undisturbed. So now when we rotate in the opposite direction, or say after furthermore, now the soil is getting remolded. Initially we got T max for the undisturbed sample. Now if we are rotating, means it is getting disturbed continuously. So that means the soil is getting remolded. So for that we have to determine the residual torque. Okay, we have to determine the residual torque. So TR is determined for the remolded type of soil. So in this way we find out T max as well as the TR, and then we determine the shear strength. Okay, so this is regarding the entire vane shear test as well as unconfined compression strength test. So here I have mentioned some of the assignment questions as usually, along with some of the problematic questions. Try to solve them. If you have any queries, just try to contact me. And then in the upcoming lecture we will be discussing on the soil exploration. So this is the unit 2, the module number 2. We will be discussing on soil exploration. Okay, so thank you very much once again, and if you have any clarification, just try to contact me. Have a nice day.